As IDC's research manager for digital commerce, I spend a lot of time looking at the trends and forces driving the e-commerce market. Last year in 2020, I spoke with over 120 B2B and B2C online merchants of all sizes across the globe. From these discussions and other research IDC conducts, it is clear that digital commerce is the future of business. Let's dive into some of those trends affecting the market. Fueled by the COVID-19 pandemic, in 2020, we saw a record increase in transactions shifting online towards e-commerce channels. In the US, when you look at the share of all retail commerce that occurs online, that share shifted from about 11% before COVID-19 to about 15%, amounting to $200 billion moving from offline channels to online channels just in retail. Meanwhile, in Western Europe, we saw a similar shift from 10% of retail commerce happening online pre-pandemic to 13% in 2020, representing 70 billion US dollars shifting online in a matter of months. To provide one more additional point of comparison, China's e-commerce share of retail is expected to exceed 50% in 2021. IDC expects that these trends will continue and a majority of those transactions that have shifted online will stay online. Qualitatively, from my discussions with many retailers and brands, they were doubling their growth in 2020, seeing more demand than ever before, and were forced to focus their resources on succeeding on those digital channels. So if it wasn't already clear before COVID-19, 2020 made it apparent that commerce is moving online. Although COVID-19 accelerated this shift, the move towards e-commerce was already in the works before COVID-19. The pandemic merely accelerated trends that were already in place, and those trends are now more important than ever. I have pinpointed 5 of those trends and will walk through how some of the traditional old rules of commerce are giving way to the modern new rules of commerce. First off is channel explosion. Traditionally, in the old way of doing commerce, buyers would interact with 1 or 2 channels before making a purchase. Today, they interact with many. In fact, the average number of channels that buyers leverage pre-purchase has shifted from about 2.5 in 2010 to over 4 channels today. That means before placing a purchase, a buyer interacts with 4 touch points, whether it's social media, marketing channels, online commerce channels, advertising, before placing a purchase. The number of channels that B2B and B2C buyers will only continue to increase as well. And it is impossible to know what the next channels will be. They might be smartwatches, the Internet of Things, voice commerce. It's impossible to tell. So what sellers need to do in this environment is make sure they are syndicating their products and product information on every new channel. Second off is personalization. In the past, brands and retailers had to appeal and advertise to mass markets. With traditional distribution and retail channels as their main route to market, sellers had to appeal to large swaths of B2B and B2C buyers. The internet has changed the game, altering how brands need to go to market and made it more viable to sell to more focused niches of the market. To provide an example involving myself, instead of brands having to sell to everyone in San Francisco, they can advertise specifically to me, a millennial male who likes to hike, for instance. Third is fragmentation. Journeys are no longer linear. Previously, we would talk about a linear sales funnel where brands would design step-by-step customer journeys that customers would go through before completing a purchase, such as seeing an ad, browsing online, and then placing an order. Today, B2B and B2C customers interact with numerous different channels across different devices and in a disjointed order. This means that brands can no longer plan out the customer journey in a similar flow. To give you an example, I might see an ad for a product, talk to a friend about the product, go on Amazon to look at it, and then actually go into a store to place an order. along this journey, this more fragmented journey, it is essential that the product information is consistent and engaging on all of these touch points. Fourth is experimentation. In the past, most businesses had relatively simple business models. They sold things. However, today, the fastest growing organizations leverage numerous business models. So they might sell products, they might sell services, they might do B2B and B2C, they might leverage a subscription business model, they might use a consumption-based model, and they might even sell through marketplaces. And to succeed in this environment, you must constantly experiment to make sure that you're hitting all the right notes with customers. And again, some of the most successful organizations have done this. And finally, the experience economy. There has been a movement from customers being primarily interested in products and prices towards more purchases and customer relationships being founded in the experience being delivered beyond just a product and price. Customers and business buyers have become so accustomed to beautiful, easy, and engaging online shopping interfaces, just such as those they see on Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, and they now expect every buying experience will meet these standards. This includes product content, having a good brand story, having strong brand ethos, and a sense of community. These are all things that the consumer of today is looking for when they buy online. Despite these shifts occurring in the market and a broad understanding in the importance of delivering great commerce and product experiences, there are still many bad commerce experiences out there. As consumers, we have all come across e-commerce experiences that are missing the mark, ones that make us really frustrated or we don't get the things we want when we want them. IDC has identified 5 areas where we see these shortcomings most often in e-commerce today. First, over-reliance on one channel, whether it be on Amazon, a branded site, in-store. Many merchants rely too heavily and devote their resources to a single touch point, making it hard to do business for a customer elsewhere. Second, bad product content. Many merchants have bad product content that doesn't provide customers an accurate understanding of the product and provide good imagery. Sometimes there are errors on product content and information. And often the product content lacks language that actually improves conversion. So not just describing products, but marketing it in the product information. Third, abundance of friction. This is present in many online commerce experiences where it's just difficult to complete a transaction. We see this most often in areas such as bad search, making it difficult to find a product in the catalog, a lack of payment options or flexibility, and finally, making it difficult to make returns, for instance. Fourth, static segmentation. As we move toward a more personalized e-commerce market, customers expect differentiated experience based on who they are. And many sites out there and many stores out there don't personalize the product information, the product recommendations, promotions, and advertising based on who a customer is. I think we've all experienced this where we receive an advertisement for a product we've already purchased, for instance. This is really a data problem leading to the static segmentation. And fifth, siloed systems. This occurs when e-commerce software are poorly integrated to each other. For instance, the digital commerce platform may not be properly integrated with the PIM system, resulting in slower times for product managers to update their catalogs on the site. So with these challenges in mind, IDC recommends that retailers and manufacturers take the following steps to win in the digital economy. First off, look ahead and enable commerce experiences of the future. So don't just look at what your customers are doing now, how they're placing orders, what they're looking for, what products they like the most. Envision what they're going to want in the future and do a little bit of market research to understand where your future customer is going to be. Second is broaden your lens of the impact of digital commerce. Having good product information on a marketplace or on your branded site doesn't just stop there on increasing conversions. Having accurate, engaging product information on your branded site, for instance, is shown to increase conversions in store and anywhere else that commerce takes place. Third, reduce friction. The customer of today expects every online interaction they have to be frictionless. They expect to be able to get in, find what they're looking for, and get out. So when designing every single customer journey and experience online, you need to be thinking about how to reduce friction and make it easier to do business with you across every single channel where your customer is. Fourth, focus on transparency. As mentioned before, today's customer cares about the experience they get online beyond the product and the price. One way to deliver an excellent customer experience is being more transparent by letting a customer know what a product is made of, providing sustainability information, and providing more fulfillment information for them. Fifth, build digital commerce systems that deliver channel ubiquity. We've all heard about in retail about omni-channel, that customers want to be able to buy on many different channels, in-store, online, etc. But channel ubiquity goes beyond that as well. You want to make sure that you're providing the same product information and experience on all those different channels. And you need to make sure you're using tools that allow you to push your product information on all those different channels, whether they be on retailers' websites, marketplaces, branded sites, and partner sites. And finally, solve those digital commerce hurdles I talked about in the last section. So areas where you can improve product content, channel ubiquity, and removing friction. That concludes my talk. I want to thank you so much for watching, and please enjoy the rest of the event.